Can everyone see the Amway presentation screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So ladies, thank you very much for joining me. We're going to talk a lot today about setting goals and intentions and what we want and how to create it as part of this topic. And to really frame that up, this here was a goal of mine that I had been pondering on for quite a while, coming off the back of what we're also going to talk about today is who are the people that we want to be able to help, where do we want to niche, and knowing that we have some things that we feel that we can provide products and service to them that help them get what they want and help them get a result, an outcome. And one of the areas that I looked at, I feel very grateful and honored, is that I've been a guy who's had the great pleasure to actually work with a lot of women in business. So I thought, I'm going to be the guy that helps the gals in business as one of my niches. So I really am grateful that you're all here, and we're going to go through some good stuff today. If nothing else, is either a good reminder or some really new skills for you. So let's just jump straight into it. And I've obviously got my guest speaker today, Jess Williamson, who I'll do all the intros with in a minute, and what she's doing in her business. So let's move on. Firstly, guys, I'm going to get you guys to do this. Just put your hands up like this. All righty. And we're going to go like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. Give yourself a pat. Because that's a congratulations from me to you for being here, working on your business. Because one of the things that I want to say respectfully right here is, firstly for me, and by the way, someone, if they could just check their mute and turn it on, because we can hear stuff. Maybe it's Renee. Renee? There you go. I've got mute Jess, mute, and I probably won't mute me just yet. Okay, so what I just want to also say respectfully is I know we're in an interesting time, and and I'm going to say, without sounding sexist, I'm going to say for you ladies, working with a lot of women, I know and I respect that you've got a lot of stuff going on. You've got families, you've got kids, you've got partners. And what I just want for today to be possibly either the beginning of a new direction and considering how we might be able to start doing things a little differently. And by that, because the thing that I'm really committed to is I am not the guy that's ever going to tell you, hey, you know what, work 1 hour a week and you got hundreds of thousands of dollars flowing into your account just yet, unless we do want to say that and believe it. And with that, though, there's still some things that we've got to start saying, thinking, and doing to manifest that, if that's what you want. Because I do believe it's all possible. It's just what we decide to. I even wrote here on the board, which is what we want to decide, say, see, and play, applying it to let the magic show up, which I'll talk about. So firstly, respect to all of you, and let's go on a journey and create some new. So today, let's just check that we're in the right room, the right Zoom room. I'm going to talk and want to find out, is anyone interested in this whole thing around blocks and moving through them to help achieve more of what you want? Hand up if you would like to hear more about that. Yes. Convert your social media posting into lots of happy buying customers and clients, guys. And there are some language and words that I'm going to reinforce today, because we know that there's some energy around certain words, which is selling and different things. And I don't know if, and maybe Jackie can relate to this, and I know a lot of you can relate to this, the power of language and the words that we use have a huge impact on us. So what if it was, instead of selling, what if it was engaging lots of happy buying customers and clients? Yeah. And Jess is going to talk about her business, what she's doing to build a good, thriving business right now in these times, because we're going to talk about the psychology of, with respect to everyone, why is it that some people are actually, you know, ticking over and doing okay, and some are doing really well and some are not at all. And what I'm finding is so much of it is our psychology of what we're thinking, saying, and doing in our mind. So we're going to talk a lot about that. And I'm going to then share with you a way to guide you to your full potential and realize all your goals and dreams, which sounds a bit salesy, but you know what? I truly believe that. So let's go on the journey and have some fun. Everyone can hear me? Put your thumbs up. Yes? Yes? Okay. All right. So let's move forward. Who's this guy, Trevor Russell? Well, this is one of my older photos. So I've changed my hair a bit since then, but all joking, guys, joking. Okay. So I decided, because I've been watching a bit of Netflix, I thought I'm going to go with the Netflix introduction. So Trevor Russell is a guy who really quickly, not wanting to make this about me, has decided to put this presentation together to do my part to help women succeed in business. And we'll go for about an hour and a bit, maybe into about 70 minutes. It's rated M. There might be a few things that we might say and do that we might not want to hear the kids hear, but I doubt it. But really quickly, ladies, I just want to share with you a quick backstory on me. I'm actually originally from Melbourne, and I don't know if any of you, I'm sure some of you would get this, if not all of you. I picked up a book and it was called Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. And I'll find it for you. Hang on. It was this book, and I picked it up when I was about 20 years old. And I don't know how I got this book, but I'm a bit of a reader, so I don't know, maybe I was in a bookstore and it jumped out to me. And it really got me present to the power of setting an intention and vision and really using our brain. And from that, I decided I wanted to work. I was working in the hospitality industry. I decided I wanted to work for a really good company. I wanted to travel. I wanted to be trained. And I ended up attracting a job with a company that sent me to LA, and I worked for an American restaurant nightclub chain, and I got everything that I asked for and wanted answered. And then I moved to Sydney, but I'm not going to go into the intricacies of that. But what really helped me show me was our visualization and setting intentions, which is what I've decided to commit a lot of this talk to today, in addition to strategy. I then created another vision on that journey. It wasn't all smooth sailing, but I ended up wanting to be a marketing manager. And at the time I'd had enough of the nightclub industry, and I'd really decided I wanted to build a career for myself, and a different career. And I wanted to be a marketing manager. I had a vision of me sitting in an office, typing on a computer, earning a six-figure income in a suit, and that was me being a marketing manager. I had no idea what I was typing. I didn't even know how to use a computer at the time. Lo and behold, anything about really the specifics of being a marketing manager. But what I did do was I focused on that goal. I went to work on the ideas that my brain started giving me. And 8 years later, I'm sitting in an office, typing on a computer. I'm the marketing director for Expedite Systems in Sydney. And I went, wow, I'm here. And so, without wanting to sound all woo-woo, what I do truly believe, ladies, and Renee and I are really close friends, we've been reminded very recently of the power of our brain and what it is that we decide that we want to focus on and create. And is it all made up? You know, maybe if we do want to work just an hour a week and have lots of money flowing in, maybe that is possible, if we really believe that it is, because I know all of you would have set a goal at some point, and now you've created it through a decision and moving forward to it, right? So real quick, I'll wrap up my story. I moved to Byron Bay because I wanted to go into business for myself. I'd been reading the Robert Kiyosaki books. That was a journey. I then moved to the Gold Coast and ended up creating a mortgage broking business. Did very well pre-GFC, was pretty much semi-retired. And then the GFC hit, and that changed a lot for me. But I'd also really made some less than, well, I didn't know what I did at the time. And Angie and Julie would be able to relate to this, if not all of you. I was very overgeared. I was buying equity on equity because back then the banks would just hand out money to you, and I would pull out hundreds of thousands of dollars out of equity, and I just kept buying more houses, thinking that was the right thing to do to build wealth. And then what I realized, if the market crashes, you've got all this shortfall and you've got to pay for it. And so what happened was, I'm going to be really honest and transparent, ladies. At the time, I was making so much money, it would make your head spin. And also, I didn't work much. So I was pretty much a social playboy alcoholic. I spent so much money on just, because I'd never made, I literally had $20,000, $30,000 a month coming into my bank account. It was just ridiculous. And don't get me wrong, I was working hard. I was prospecting. I was doing the best work for my clients and my referral partners. I was really committed to what I did. I just didn't know how to do the other stuff, which was to evolve into knowing how to manage that growth and money. And it all fell down like a deck of cards. And the thing that broke me, ladies, was I had moved my mother into a home that I'd purchased. And I got to talk through this quickly because it does make me a bit emotional, but I had to sell my mother's home, and because I was that messed up, and it was a terrible thing to go through, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone, but I did get through it. And then I ended up thinking, well, what do I love? And I thought, I love business. I love people. I love sales. I love marketing. So I've been on a journey, and I now have a small coaching, consulting, training business where I work with people, helping them grow their business and grow their sales and their clients. And I developed a system which I've now put into a book called the 7-Pillar Business Sales Growth System. And what I teach in my work, ladies, is I teach people the modern consultative approach to attracting, connecting, and converting prospects into paying clients. And I know my stuff, and it does work if you work it. And we'll go more into that today. And what I've decided for all of you ladies is, for being my first guests onto the How Women Succeed series, I'm mailing you all a printed signed copy of my book. Like it, don't like it, take it, don't take it, but that's my gift from me to you for being my first guests on today. But Jess doesn't get one because she's already got one. So you're only allowed one, Jess. So thanks for listening to me. And I'm going to move on to our presentation. And I just want to leave this quote with you, ladies. The power of deciding what you want, saying it, seeing it, and playing to apply it, and letting the magic happen. I've been reacquainted with how powerful that is, and not putting the logic into what we think can work and can't work. And I want to really dig more into this through this series today and ongoing programs. So let's move on. Everyone good? So I'm going to get you guys to unmute, and we're going to play a quick game together. Okay. You ready? Everyone unmute quickly.
Okay.
Yes. All hear me?
Yes.
Now, I'm going to get you to say these few words. They're very powerful. They're going to help you manifest everything that you want in your world, in your life, for the rest of your life. You ready?
Yes.
Repeat after me. Let's do this.
Let's
Do this. I'm ready, Trev.
I'm ready.
Ready, Trev?
I'm ready, Trev.
I'm ready.
Ready, Trev?
This is going to be so good.
This is gonna be so
So good.
All right, bit of fun. Okay, now before I continue, is everyone good? Everyone happy, comfortable?
Yes.
Yep.
Very good. Now I know Renee's probably, where's the mute button? What the hell am I doing? But you're okay, Renee?
I'm.
Do you speak?
Do you want me to
now?
find the mute button?
All right, let's move on.
Is that a kind way to say mute yourself?
Yes. Okay. No, I'm kidding. I was teasing you. Okay. So this, ladies, if you mute yourself, these are my 7 hot spots of what we're going to cover this morning to get what you want. And then Jess, get ready because you're next. Okay. So all mute yourself, please, ladies. We're going to talk firstly about the waking up and what we can do through fear. That might sound a bit weird, but we're going to talk about what we can do to wake up to do through fear, because not just women, men and women, all of us, I see. You know what? I'm not going to talk about it yet. Let me move on. Build your manifestation superwoman powers about what we can do to manifest more of what we want. Sounds a bit woo-woo, but it works if we work it. Decide what you want, thinking about what is it that you really want and making a decision without knowing how. The filling up the skills gaps, being pushed to do the laps, metaphorically, the swimming laps. I believe and know from experience that if we are going to break through to new areas, most people, including me, won't do it on our own. And I'm not here to pitch that necessarily work with me or don't work with me, but all I'm saying is, ladies, from my experience, if you're going to go from comfortable to uncomfortable, you've just got to have someone in your corner, whether it's your husband, your boyfriend, your coach, your mentor, whoever. Great people have great people by themselves, and we're going to talk about that. Be fishing. We're going to talk a lot today about this whole thing about conversion, and I'm having a bit of fun with it, but where are we fishing to get our prospective clients in these beautiful social media platforms when we know how to be a bit more strategic with using them as good ponds, as I like to call it, to fish for beautiful clients and customers? Then what it is that we can say and do to connect with our people and to speak with them in ways that they would want to engage with working with us. And then to deliver on our promise and do memorable work. They're my 7 hotspots for us today. And girls, you've totally got this, all right? So let's move on. Let's kick off now before we get into those 7 areas, which will also tie in when we talk to Jess, because a lot of what I'm sharing in there that I see work, and I know a lot of you are already doing great stuff anyway. I'm sure you're going to resonate with a lot of this, but let's jump over to Jess now, and I'm going to introduce Jess. And then what I've done is I've put what I consider, looking at what Jess has done, these would be her top tips, which we'll talk through very quickly. Okay. So, hi Jess.
Hi, am I on?
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, very well. Everyone put their thumbs up if they can hear Jess. Yes? Okay. So very quickly, I'm going to just introduce how I know Jess and our relationship, and then I'm going to do a little kind of Q&A chat with you. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I met Jess through another friend of mine a few years ago, and we've become really good friends. And we have had many conversations around business, and I know Jess really well, and I know the journey that she's been on, and why I'm so pleased and grateful to be able to have this chat and present Jess this morning is because I've seen what she's gone through and how she's really evolved. And I really want to reinforce, ladies, for all your greatness, that there's so many things that if we do the little things can make such a big difference. And seeing Jess, how she's gone and developed this business, it's really a testament to her and her actions and her mindset. And I'm going to hand it over to Jess. And Jess, if you can then now quickly, thank you so much for joining us. Can you just share quickly, tell us, obviously your name, but tell us a little bit about your business, what it does, and then I'm going to jump in and I'm going to ask you some questions, okay?
Okay. So guys, hi, my name's Jess, and I am a scalp micropigmentation artist, and I work at Broadbeach in the Gold Coast. I started my business a couple of years ago when I was at a bit of a crux in my life where I was so unhappy with my then job, my then career, which was in mining. So I was a machinery operator. Trev, I've known him, he'd hear my stories about how unhappy I really was. I was tired, I was exhausted, I wanted to get out of there. I had no passion for that, and I wanted another way. So he sort of saw where I was going with hopefully wanting to train in this industry, and he was really there sort of to bounce back and forth off in terms of coaching and getting me to a place where I could give that up completely. And now I'm here running a successful business and created another one as well, which is in its infancy right now, but I'm very excited about. And I feel like I have had success in these 2 areas, and yeah, I've got a few different tips and methods about that as well.
Cool. So Jess, what I want to jump in and say, and ladies, I'm sure you can relate to this. Thank you for, your kind words around us, having conversations and working together. But what I do find, ladies, for myself, anyone that I really admire that is doing, you know, good things. And it's not about how much money or anything, but really deciding to go after their goals is, ladies, just the importance today of the decisions that we make. Because Jess, was there a decision that you made that now brought this concept and idea to you? And yes, I'm in your social circle and we have chats around business and sales and marketing, but can you share with us quickly, what was that decision? When did you how did you come across this, you know, the cosmetic tattooing? Was it a decision on looking for a business, an opportunity? How did you get that thing to show up in your life?
There was a decision, and there were a couple of different factors on why I actually chose this particular industry. One was that I was looking for something anyway.
So you were looking for something?
For something, yes.
Yeah. And what was that something going to give you? What did you want that something to give you?
That something was going to give me financial freedom, and it was going to give me the right to choose my own time. My time working for myself would give me freedom in a lot of ways, not just financially, but it was hard and difficult to locate what that thing would be. And how I happened upon that was that I had an ex-boyfriend that had the particular treatment. And I just thought it was amazing. I'd never heard of it before and I was interested in it. I did my due diligence. I found out who were the practitioners that would be competition, how I would gain training, and financially what I would then forecast for myself as a potential possibility. So given those things, that was where I headed with that. And because I was interested in it, I believe that that's propelled things forward as well, because and now I just have a passion for it.
Right. So if I can jump in, Jess, and just say, what I hear in that respectfully is you had made a decision that you wanted money, you wanted to make good money, you wanted time to work on your terms, and you know, you wanted to have that flexibility. And so what happened is, you know, the machinery went to work, and you know, it turns out that this thing shows up, and lo and behold, you're now working on your terms, and I know you're making really good money, but you're also doing work, which we're going to talk about as to how you do that. But all I want to reinforce here, ladies, is what are the things that we're deciding to do up front without knowing the how? So I'm going to talk and want to reinforce is deciding off the back of today, and maybe going and having a tea or a coffee somewhere and saying, well, what do I really want? You know, do I want my, my grant writing business to be so busy and booked up that I can't even take on anymore? And I've got thousands of dollars coming in and I want to work on my terms. I'm just saying, ladies, as part of this, really allow yourself to dream. And I know we're in a world with stuff going on, but all I'm saying is, from what knowing Jess is doing in this time, and we'll jump into more, is she's running a good business, and I know a lot of you are too, in a time when many people are committing suicide. So what's the difference, right? Could it be mindset? Could it be a lot of things? So Jess, jumping in, can you tell us, to get into some strategy, because we know you're in a business that you love, and it's helping men to, you know, have that shaved look. And Jess has done a treatment on my hair. So what it's done is, inside my hair, it's made it look thicker, because the technique that she does, and I'll show you on the next slide in a minute. Well, actually, we see here, what it does is gives this effect that you've got this shaved head. And let me tell you, as a man, ladies, our hair, whether anyone, maybe some men don't care, but it is no fun losing your hair as a man, let me tell you. It's an emotionally, anyway, it's another conversation. So for this technology, what it does, and Jess does do treatments for women, you know, that might have thinning hair or maybe extend areas, but it is a really outstanding technology and she's really good at it. So Jess, coming down to the specifics of the topic of what we're talking about here today around what you're doing to use social media to convert into paying clients, if I can support the discussion, which is, ladies, we're going to talk about the strategy, because what Jess is doing as a strategy is, sure, well, I don't see Jess just putting up pictures of her dog and hanging at the beach with photos of her toenails that she's just done, which there's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying is we are here today as business people, and as part of your social media activity, what I like about reminding all of us what Jess is doing is that she has a strategy. So if I can just talk a bit more and hand over to you, Jess, is she believes what she does and she's doing active posting on social media. So Jess, can you jump in there and just tell us a little bit about where you're posting, what your intention is behind that, and who's your fish? Who are you talking to, wanting to talk?
All right. So strategy in terms of prospecting for new clients or clientele is there are a couple of different strategies that I have. I'll start off with my first strategy that was successful in the way of really, I sort of hit the ground running. So I had to have a look at, well, this business, how much money do I really have to spend on, say, advertising? Do I want to delegate a particular amount of money to this business that is so new, or can I find another way? So I decided to find another way. I decided to get exposure in a way that was completely free. I thought to myself, look, there's not a huge amount of awareness about this procedure right now. So I advertised on groups on Facebook. So I joined up, I sat there, I found every single particular group that there was a pool of people that were close to me in terms of distance. And I was going on the buy, swap and sell pages, the treasure chest pages, all of the pages I'm in. So I started posting for models originally, so that I could build up a clientele that way and get imagery. And then I just continued to post, and I noticed when I would have more engagement on those posts and when I wouldn't. So that allowed me to develop another strategy in itself, and that was post timing. So it took me months to probably develop something that I think is more polished now. But I realized that if I posted on Friday night, people would respond. If I posted early Saturday morning, people would respond. If I posted early Sunday morning, people would respond. And what I realized is when I posted, it was time to be active on the communication. So I wouldn't go shopping after I posted. I wouldn't make myself unavailable after I posted. I was there because they're essentially bites. You're fishing, and these bites, you are going to hook someone or you're not. It's up to you whether or not you want to be proactive and you want to convert them. So people have very fleeting attention spans, and it's really important that if you want to get exposure and you want to engage in communication and take it to the next level, you really need to be strategic and committed in your approach to communication. And I found that for me, that has been the biggest driver of my sales and conversions.
Say that again, please, Jess.
So that's been the biggest driver of my sales and conversions.
What was that? What's been the biggest driver?
Communication. Commitment to the communication after I get the intro.
Okay, so in my world, ladies, for those of you who haven't worked with me, in the 7-pillar process, Jess, where she's fishing, is pillar 3, which is Facebook and Instagram. And what she's doing is, pillar 2 is where she's fishing, her ponds, her marketing. Pillar 3 is the activity that she does to connect with those people through them responding or her reaching out to them. And then pillar 4 is the conversations that she's having to convert. And we're going to deep dive into this morning, ladies, because this is where I see the skills gap for a lot of people in business, because it's where the magic happens. It is literally where the magic happens. So thank you, Jess. So Jess, can you tell us what you mean when we talked about Jess's, what I've called push-through pattern that you've developed, this push-through habit?
Okay, so with the push-through pattern, we talked about why some people had the same sort of training as me, and were not successful, and I was. And I think everybody has an element of fear and doubt. And also, we all have a little bit of laziness about us. Essentially, we don't want to output any energy that isn't proven to have been of benefit to us. So if we're going to output that energy, we want to know that it's for a worthy cause. So it depends on, like for me, I had to develop a pattern. So what I did was I always made sure that I did the exact things that I was saying before. And it was harder then. It was harder then to get back to someone and be really committed and driven in that sense, or it took more energy that way. It was then proven over time that these worked, and it's not like now I think of getting back to someone as an annoyance or an irritation. I know that I push through that part and I will potentially likely get a sale. So for me, it's now looked at as a positive thing, and it's not a block or a barrier in my mind. It's now seen positively as a direct method of getting that sale. So I just push through, I make sure I've developed a pattern, and now it's super easy to get back to everyone and do everything that I need to do.
Great. So Jess and ladies, just to reinforce this, we're going to jump into it in a minute. I know for a fact with myself and people that I work with, when we can do through fear, in my language, and as Jess says, push through fear, it's the fear that stops everyone from their greatness, ladies. And fear we'll talk about it in a moment, but I know I've got one lady who I was working with who will talk about playing a fun game to change the psychology. She had this fear, which was, oh, you know, I don't want to put it out there because I'm from Townsville and this is the Gold Coast and they're maybe they're going to judge me and think I'm a bogan. And I said, well, bring on the bogans. We love bogans, right? Half of Gold Coast is full of bogans, right? But it wasn't anything to do with that. It was to do with her fear trying to protect her and stop her from doing something that she wasn't good at yet and hadn't experienced. So that's why pushing her through to do it, she did it. People, yes, no one threw hand grenades at her. No one was judging her. And I mean, in support of Jess, some people will be going, oh my God, I don't want to put this stuff up that I tattoo men's heads and it's all so emotional and stuff. And she's like, I'm doing it. I love what I do. It helps men and I'm going to put it out there. So, you know, I really wanted to emphasize on that point, ladies, because it is all about the push through until we get the result. And I really support what Jess said. The hardest thing for us as entrepreneurs and why I launched this group is it's the doing it before you get a result. You know, there's no one giving us salaries. There's no one giving us accolades. You got to do all this stuff and push through in the hope that you do a good job and get a result. And that's what Jess has done. So Jess, just before we wrap up on this point, thank you so much. Can I just also jump in and ask you, when you are speaking to people, and let's face it, for some people, what people are buying from you is big money in the eyes of some people. So is there anything that you can share with the ladies when it gets to that point when you're talking about $1,500 to $3,000 type purchases? What is it that you do to help translate that conversation into them and saying, I'd like to book in with you?
Okay, so the most important components of that, I think, is believe in what you're selling. People can sniff out anybody who is disingenuous, who doesn't believe in what they're selling, and who is out to make a dollar. I won't do it. Like, I know I'm so confident in my product, and I'm so confident in relaying the information about that. I won't skip a beat because I've got that belief set in motion. I know it back to front. There is no question that will trip me up. There isn't. Like, I'm so aware, and I don't feel that, you know, like there's never a question that comes to me that I look like I don't know what I'm talking about, because I do know what I'm talking about. The other thing is, I will never I will never ever try and follow up and try and get I never drop my price for a start. If it's ever asked, I will not be the girl that is able to be broken, because that's showing a disbelief in what I'm giving. And I won't, like, if I've given somebody a quote, I won't get back. I won't be on there asking how they're thinking about it. Like, this can all happen in other businesses, but in mine, I feel like if you're showing yourself to be needy.
So you really value what you do. You know that it's worth what someone's paying. You believe in what you do, and you stick by it.
I stick by it. So that person has, they will see, they might sit back there, they'll see the other posts that I'm doing. They'll know that it takes a while to get in with me because I've got, I'm fully booked. And then likely they will come. They will approach me and they will book in. I don't need to approach them back. But
so it sounds like to me that, as we've talked about, ladies, and I want the theme to be around what we're manifesting today, is just to reinforce what I hear Jess is saying, is that she decided what she wanted, how she wanted it to be. She believes in what she does. She's willing to push through the monkey mind, stupid, silly fear stuff. And she goes out to dare to be of service to what she does. But she's also really in her power to believe in what she does. And it's like, this is what it is. And people sense that, and they buy what she does. And I know that she delivers on her promise. So it's a really good reminder for all of us, I feel. So Jess, thank you. I'm going to move on. But before I do, I've got a question to ask you. And by the way, ladies, if anyone does want to find out more about what Jess does for you, or a boyfriend or a brother or whatever, that's her phone number and email. And I will email all of you a thank you, and I'll put her details in there if you do want to connect with Jess. But Jess, why do you love what you do?
Why do I love what I do? Because there's an emotional component that about my work that I never really appreciated before I started doing it and seeing it. And now I know that I make people so happy. That's why I love what I do. I love what I do because people come and see me. I sit with them for hours. Like the technology takes quite a while to, establish the entire look in the end. So I'm with these people for hours. I get to know them. They become friends of mine. I love it because I really get to connect with individuals on a level that I didn't think I would before. And now I have friendships that come from my work, and that I think is so positive in that way. So that's probably why.
Great. Okay. Well, ladies, thumbs up for Jess. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Jess.
Well, a lot. So collaboration is massive, and for me, it has been an integral part of my success as well. So by collaboration, I'm going to interchange that with just networking as well. So I knew that my product could be directly, like barbers. They're cutting people's hair. They see stuff that people don't. So I've approached many barbers, told them about my brand, gained a relationship with them, and collaborated with them by offering something of value to them if they bring something of value to me. And it has been, the best kind of deal is where everybody feels like they're benefiting. And those are the deals that seem to always push through emotion. So that's just one example. The other one is other business owners, other aesthetic clinics, things like that. I've made them aware as well and collaborate in that sort of sense also. So they're just a couple of different examples of how that's worked for me. There's Instagram influencers that, I can approach to sort of like give something of benefit to them, and then they put me on their platform. So there's so many avenues of collaboration, and I believe that it is key.
And then one more question. Sorry, Trevor, but I find this really interesting. I'll be really quick.
Why don't you do this, Renee? Why don't you do this? Why don't you connect with Jess offline and we'll move on, okay? Because we don't have time. We don't have time. We don't have time. Yeah. I know Jess, I know you, I'll connect you all right? So let's move on. And because, good, thank you. But just to let you know, ladies, to reinforce what Renee has asked and what Jess has shared is, do you notice the difference between, oh shit, I don't want to call and discuss if I can collaborate because what will they think of me? And oh, what if they reject me and say no? It's not even in her radar. It's just, I love what I do. I'm going to go talk to them about it. And did anyone hurl hand grenades at you, Jess?
No.
Did anyone tell you to F off?
No, nobody. Like,
No.
I mean, obviously not going to get always the same response, but at the end of the day, it worries me not.
Well, there you go. You're more worried about not doing than doing it.
Right.
Very good. So thank you, Jess. I'm going to move on. Don't mean to cut you off, my lovely friend Renee, but we've got to move on. Okay, I've got to honor everyone's time. All right, so let's move on. So thanks, Jess. We'll speak to you soon if you want to stay on. And here's some of Jess's work, and it's great stuff that she's doing. So all thumbs up, ladies. All good? Yes. Hello, everyone with me? Yes. Okay. All right. So I'm going to jump in, and ladies, really following on from what Jess has said here around the whole concept of what fear does to us and being so aware of it, because I really love this quote.